Hey guys, Micah here. Before we started this week's episode, I got a few things to share. First of all, we wanted to apologize for the episode being delayed. Andros caught COVID, so the edit and upload got a bit delayed. He had to move his whole setup to a quarantine room, but he's doing good and should be back to full health in no time. Second, we wanted to let you know that we were doing a special stream Saturday, February the 12th. It will be a follow-a-thon, so the more follows we get, the longer we will stream. And that's it. Should be a pretty good time, and on to the podcast.
Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pals Podcast, episode 74. Tonight, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and more. That's all I have to say. That's my intro today. We're going to talk Pokemon Legends and more. Yet another week where I give up halfway through the intro. My brain just goes, nah, you got nothing in there. You should have written something. You should have written something down. Oh, well, I am Andros, and I am joined by my fellow Nintendo pal and co-host, Micah.
Yep.
And we have an extra special episode tonight. Actually, I probably should have talked about like the main attraction of what we're going to be talking about tonight, and that is another massive top 5 list. That's right, we're going to be talking the top 5 Nintendo games on every handheld. What was this, like a couple weeks ago? We did the top 5.
3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago we did like top 5 on every Nintendo console, and this week is the follow-up to that with every handheld. I'm pretty excited. It's going to be fun to compare lists and see just how much Micah missed out on because he didn't have a whole lot of handhelds. But first off, Micah, how are you doing?
How the tables have finally turned.
Yeah, it's finally my time to be like, what? You haven't played this game? What? How are you doing, Micah? How's life?
Doing pretty good. Same old life stuff.
Yeah, I am feeling a bit under the weather, so apologies if I sound a little off, sound a little raspy. I've got a bit of a sore throat, and I don't know, I like woke up. Here's the problem, is I think my body is trying to tell me that I should not have stayed up till 3 a.m. playing Pokemon Legends Arceus on launch night. But... so I woke up this morning. I just did not feel good. I feel like I must have caught a cold somewhere. Hopefully it wasn't at the pickup for the game, because that would be lame. Someone went to that sick.
Maybe they just didn't even know.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So I'm feeling under the weather. So I was like, oh yeah, I feel good enough to do the podcast. But as we got closer and closer to podcast time, I felt worse and worse. So I'm putting on my healthy face. But after this episode, I'm going to go pass out. I'm going to go sleep.
Yeah, go pass out. I'm still not convinced you're not going to play some Pokemon Legends while in bed. It's one of those. I still had to work today, so I wasn't even like able to like enjoy a sick day where I could play Pokemon. Nah, no such luck. Yeah, I mean, if only you got sick like 12 hours earlier, then you could have been like, I'm too sick to work tomorrow, and then you could have slept in. And then played Pokemon all day. Exactly. It's not like I have children to take responsibility for. Children don't exist when you're sick, right? I wish. There are no sick days for parents. That's a pro tip for anybody aspiring to be a parent out there. Micah, you were also feeling a little under the weather this week. Yeah, I wasn't feeling too good yesterday. I actually didn't get out of bed until like 5:30 p.m.
Wow.
Yesterday, but I'm like feeling real good today, so
oh man,
just
sounds like that rest really helped out.
Yeah.
that is a long time to stay in bed. But if you're not feeling good, I mean, sometimes that's just how it be. You just are down for the count. Was it like cold type stuff?
Yeah, kind of. I feel like it's mostly actually just like a headache, and I
Oh,
just
yeah.
didn't have any energy. So it was actually a kind of a relatively mild sickness, but I just like really didn't want to get up,
Yeah.
and I was like, I like, and with the headache, I was like, I don't really want to be like streaming and playing games,
Yeah.
so I would probably just aggravate it,
Yeah,
and
I
I probably
gotcha.
wouldn't be the most enjoyable to watch at that point.
Yeah, we got in chat here. Super Gamecraft says, I did a podcast from hospital, so you got it. Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
so suck it
kudos.
up, you pansy.
kudos. Kudos to Bronson, who's yeah, he was in the hospital for a while there with the vid, I believe. Actually, it was something else. But yeah, it's a time to be I don't know where I'm going with this thought. It's a time where like if you get a cold, you still are like really worried to go out and really worried about what it could be. So I'm glad that
Yeah, you have to. Any sickness you get, you have to play it extra safe.
yeah, I'm glad that culturally it is much more acceptable to just be like, okay, I'm not going into work. I'm not going into class. We're gonna stay home and do as much like do what I can from home if that is the case. I'm glad that that's kind of becoming more the norm. I still hear stories about businesses that are forcing employees to come in. If you are one of those businesses, stop. Don't do that.
I
Don't do
mean,
that.
even if it's just like a regular cold, you still shouldn't go in and potentially infect a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah, really. This should have been the norm forever. It should have been. Anyways, this has nothing to do with Nintendo, but you know what does have to do with Nintendo? The Nintendo. No, actually, the first segment of our show, which is what you're
What you're
playing.
playing?
Yeah.
So close.
Oh, I really almost just I caught myself. Almost gave the wrong segment first. Like I said, a little under the weather. My brain is operating at half capacity, so this could be a fun episode where just things just fall out of my mouth. Micah, oh gosh, I'm just gonna have to back up here because I forgot to shout out 5-star reviews. This is one. This is a time.
Mistake.
So we got a
It makes you feel better. I forgot to actually look at our show notes, so I'm just opening it right now for the first time.
Well, thank you for.
In my mind, I thought I had to look at it, and then you mentioned the 5-star reviews, and I suddenly realized I had not looked at anything. I actually it's because I looked at the one for last week on accident for a couple minutes.
Oh, bear with us here. Thank you so much for the 5-star reviews. If you want to support the show, that is, definitely 5-star quality. Although maybe a little off the rails when we're feeling a little under the weather. You can leave us a 5-star review on your podcast listening app of choice. 5-star reviews are available on Apple Podcasts. That's the big one. You can also leave us a 5-star review on Podchaser, which is a website that lets you do 5-star reviews if for anybody. And now on Spotify. This week's 5-star review comes from Apple Podcasts from Styles BK. And the title is 100%. Fitting for today's episode. And it says, very good podcast for all things Nintendo. And they give us a 5-star review. Styles BK, you're awesome. Thank you so much for leaving us that 5-star review. And thank you to everybody who has left us 5-star reviews. And, Micah, there is a large percentage of our audience that is listening to us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and just in general, that has not yet left us a 5-star review. Please go and do it. It's awesome. It really helps us out, and it's totally free for you to do. It does not cost you to send us stars.
It is kind of a pain in the butt. It takes like 2 minutes at least.
Right.
So I can understand it. It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
If you have the same mindset like I do.
Just sacrifice those 2 minutes. Sacrifice those 2 minutes for the cause. The cause of Nintendo Pals taking over the world. That's right. we're going to do it. We're going to become the number one Nintendo podcast. We are actually like showing up very high in search results and rankings right now. It's a combination of you guys leaving us 5-star reviews. Plus, we've been doing a lot to optimize the search engine results on our end with descriptions and titles and whatnot. So our combined efforts have moved us up to like number 4 or 5, showing up on Apple Podcasts under Nintendo. And we're bouncing around in the top 10 on Google search results. Super cool. It's really, really exciting to see that. And yeah, so huge thanks to everybody.
It just goes to show that literally anyone can do this. Anyone at all.
Don't give away our secrets, Micah. All right,
I mean,
Micah.
Oh boy, this is real hard.
This is real difficult to do.
That makes it sound like a lot of effort has not gone into it. And
which
there
it has
been a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So take that the wrong way.
Oh, and we are currently shooting for and speedrunning towards 1,000 subscribers on YouTube and 1,000 followers on Twitch. Help us hit our goals. Doing full transparency, the reason we want to hit 1,000 followers and subscribers on YouTube and followers on Twitch is because a lot of developers ask for like minimum followships and different things to work with, like review codes, and
so we just want free games is what we're saying.
we want to be able to provide more content, and we really like financially can't cover everything, but it would be really cool if we could cover a lot of that stuff just with the help of working with developers on that sort of thing. Plus gives us some notoriety for when we want to get like some bigger guests onto the show. So yeah, it really helps us out. I try to be like fully transparent with this stuff because it's like, you know, people ask for subscribers and followers and ratings on like everything. I feel like I hammer it in every week. Maybe I go a little bit too much, so I apologize. Please don't be offended. Please stick around because we're going to go into the next segment of our show right now. But thank you. And that is what you playing.
The Nintendo news?
No, what you playing? I hit the bumper again. We're here. And am I going to edit this in post? Probably not.
Heck no.
I like I said, I'm not feeling good. I'm going to go sleep after this. I mean, who has time to edit podcasts? I probably do because I've been playing a whole bunch of games this week. Micah. I played 2 new games for the first time ever in my first time playing these games in my life. One of those was
I know one of
them. New to NSO. That's right. I played some Banjo-Kazooie. It's the first time I've ever played a Banjo game.
Oh, really? You never played any Banjo-Tooie with me and Lincoln? We every once in a while played the multiplayer because he got it on Xbox 360.
I vaguely remember that. Maybe we did. Maybe we did the multiplayer. Is it like a shooter?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's kind of
terrible. Maybe I did. Maybe I did play that.
But also fun.
I don't remember it, so I have like very vague memories of a shooter. I didn't realize that was Banjo. that's funny. So this is my first time playing like the main actual game, and playing Banjo-Kazooie, and I gotta say I'm impressed. It's very fun. I like it a lot. I don't know. It was a lot of fun playing because we had a lot of people watching the stream of me playing that game, and
I enjoyed especially watching you enter in a cheat code for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, Cosmic, who we had on the show last week, was in chat, and he was like, "You should enter this code here," and it's actually like a dev door for a secret item for the stop and swap, which was being designed for the game and didn't end up getting in, but you could get an item for that, and you had to enter in. What was the password? Do you remember? It was like
I can't remember.
A secret,
right? Like something rises for this from the sea for secret prizes. Oh man,
yeah, it was super long, and I messed it up twice. So,
one of
but
them was like the second to last word, wasn't it?
yeah, but I was committed, so I did it, and man, it was mind blowing. That was a thing in the game, and just a lot of features. You got it pulled up.
It.
A lot of features in Banjo were really surprising to me. I am not usually into collectathon games. I don't really like the collecting aspect of pretty much any game, but Banjo really makes it fun. I don't know what
Until
is different.
You die. You have to collect all those musical notes again. That's the worst.
That is the worst.
I'll get like 95 of them.
Yeah.
You get 95 of them, and it's like, well, I can't stop playing now because I have to collect the last 5. I can't leave this area, or else it makes me collect all of them over again.
It is so terrible. And the first level, no problem. I didn't even run low on health. Second level, I made it like halfway through and died, and that's when I like the realization hit that like, oh no, I lost everything I collected except for Jiggies. You do get to keep those. Yeah. But like, why?
I did the same thing. I was probably like 80% the way through collecting everything, and then I died, and I wasn't being very careful because I just assumed I'd use one of my lives and I'd keep all my progress.
Yes, same.
But I found out that is not the case.
No, those lives are useless. Who needs extra lives in Banjo?
Garbage.
Yeah, you got to do everything in one.
I'm much
life.
more careful. But I found the code. I guess kind of spoilers, but it's out of the sea it rises to reveal more secret prizes. And it's not even like a text box you enter it in. You have to like
walk around in-game and ground pound on yes, yep. That was quite a thing. And I don't think that's a spoiler. That's not meant to be found, but someone found it, or it was given out.
I don't know how any of those were like figured out. There's no way. They had to be
I was half expecting. So it like like a mountain comes out of the ocean, and you go inside, and then there's like this big wall that you have to climb up with doing precise jumps. And I was like, am I just gonna get to the top of this and it's like you win? Like you've done it. You are.
Or there's just nothing.
That was quite an adventure. Banjo's so fun. But I do not like the design of dying and losing all your progress on the level. Yeah, I don't like that.
It's definitely a bit of a bummer.
There's a lot of like N64 era gunk for it being like one of the first 3D platformers. It's a very good 3D platformer, but like swimming or camera,
yeah. I also didn't realize you could swim like slow by holding, I think it's A. I only knew about like the dash swimming at first, and I was like, this swimming is the worst because I'll get close to something and then like barely miss it and just like dash away so far and then have to turn back around.
Yeah. Got mentions in chat that ukulele is the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. May have to give that a try, but I've heard mixed. It's yeah. Good, but not quite the same. They haven't really been able to capture the same magic with Banjo since the first game. But it would be really cool. We were talking in the chat on stream about how like it would be super cool to see what this game would have become if they kept it up, if the series stayed alive, because I think this has potential to be a really good platformer series. Like
I think the last one they released was on Xbox 360, wasn't it? Nuts and Bolts or something?
Nuts and Bolts? Oh.
Am I thinking of the wrong thing? I'm thinking of just a completely different... Oh yeah, Banjo-Kazooie, Nuts and Bolts. Released 2008.
I have never heard of this game. Someone mentioned that in chat. I didn't get the joke. they were like, can't wait for gosh, what did Microsoft just buy? Everything. Call of Duty, Nuts and Bolts. I think that was what the joke was. Yeah, that's funny. Now I get the joke. Oh, I get it. Ha ha.
Yeah. Oh, so
very
funny
reaction.
Yeah, I don't think it got super good reviews though.
Yeah. Such is the case with a lot of platformers. They didn't translate well. Like Mario's like the only one that stayed alive. That's like just a platformer, you know?
Yeah.
So besides Banjo-Kazooie, which highly recommend trying if you have N64 NSO online, it actually, the emulation on there works really well. I didn't experience any problems with it. I had a good time with it. I played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I did some die percent runs and stopped doing that because I could not get out. I could clip out of the Shrine of Resurrection really easily, but then couldn't clip back into the map. I kept dying up trying to get back into the map. And it shouldn't be that
what you're
hard.
Supposed to be doing? Dying? As fast as possible?
Yes, but I was supposed to. So die percent has different categories. So there's the falling from a cliff. There's die to a guardian.
That was pretty easy.
Die in ice water. Like there's a whole bunch.
They have a whole bunch of different ways to die. It's still a little disturbing sounding.
It was actually really fun to go for the fall of the cliff percent because the run is like the world record's 59 seconds. So it's a fast one that you can do over and over again. I like the run just doesn't take very long. Yeah. In chat, this seems like a real roundabout way to play Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild, the Souls game. Then besides that, also played some Spelunky 2. I finally got the sub 10-minute run. I beat the game in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm so proud of myself. Took so long, so many attempts.
Hours because you're trying to go too fast.
Yeah. Isn't that kind
of? Gotta realize you don't actually have to go that fast.
Yeah, I think the problem more is just that game has a lot of garbage luck. Things happen off screen and then explosion, boom, an enemy hits you. I had one where I was so close to the end, I was 2 levels away from the end. I jumped onto an alien ship, and you know those explode when they land?
Yeah.
I was totally fine. I jumped onto the alien ship. The alien ship fell and hit one of those spinning
laser
fireball things, which caused it to projectile back up and just nail me and explode. It was so sad. I was like, oh man, I was 2 away. But we did it. I did it. And then the big game for me. I'll save mine. We'll talk about my big game after you go through your list.
Oh yeah. My really long list. I think that I might have only played Banjo-Kazooie this last week. I feel like there has to be some other game I played, but I cannot think of any. I think I did play Clubhouse 51 for like 20 minutes at one point. Other than that, yeah, I just played Banjo-Kazooie, got through the first 3 levels. I do kind of like collectathon things, so I've 100%ed the first 3 levels. I don't know if you did that, or if you've been trying to do that, or just close to.
I did it for the first one, and then after that, I was like, no. No. After I died, like 80% through.
It's hard. It's hard to get motivated again after you make it like most of the way through a level and die.
This isn't your first time playing this game, is it?
Yep, tis.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So both of us had first time playing Banjo this week.
Yeah, I think I've played a little bit of like the single player in Banjo-Tooie for like maybe a couple hours at a friend's house, but definitely first time at all.
Do you think it's funny that Kazooie does like all the work?
Oh, for real, he does everything. You're learning a new ability.
Kazooie's a girl canonically, by the way.
Okay.
I
don't think I knew that.
Maybe I'm making this up. I don't. I thought so. Yeah, she does everything.
Yeah, you learn a new ability. Kazooie's doing it for you.
Yeah. What?
Oh, there are a bunch of spinning blades, and you want to become invulnerable. Let me just envelop you with my wings. I mean, that can't feel good for Kazooie.
She's like Banjo doesn't do like anything. Really, he walks around. But even then, like Kazooie, you get pretty early on the like run ability, and Kazooie at that point does like all the movement because it is incredibly way faster.
It's so much faster. It's nice.
Banjo sometimes punches.
You mostly roll into enemies. I feel like that's the only real attack I do. That's just him.
Yeah, he has a punch, but you don't use it. When are you gonna be like standing still? Like
you run up something and then stop so you can punch.
Yeah. Well, nice. I had no idea that you hadn't played that game either. We could have both been playing at the same time. We could have like done a dual stream. Both of our first.
I think I actually hopped on and played like 10 minutes while you were streaming it.
Oh. Yeah. It's very fun. Okay, so the big one for me is I picked up Pokemon Legends Arceus. There it is. And it has its claws in me. It's Cyndaquil claws. Cyndaquil doesn't have claws.
Nah, Cyndaquil has nubs or something like that.
Cyndaquil has his nubs all around my my desire to play this game. I don't know. That was no. We're just gonna nix that whole statement. I just really like the game. That's what I'm trying to say.
Cyndaquil does have back claws.
Does
although it's kind of just looks like one giant toenail.
Yeah. See, what kind of animal is it? I'm getting sidetracked here. Pokemon Legends Arceus is the game that I have always wanted Pokemon to make. So far, I'm still in newness phase, kind of in the honeymoon phase with the game, where it's like, this is fantastic because
there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it because it's all new, it's all exciting. But let me give some of my first impressions thoughts. The art style is significantly better while playing than it appeared to me in the trailers. Significantly. I do think that the trailers did that a disservice, but I don't know how they would have done it different. But it's like when you're playing it, it looks and feels like a painting to me. It's almost up there with like Skyward Sword, but a very different kind of painterly style. It definitely has more of a Japanese like painterly look to it than Skyward Sword, which just looks very
Japanese
watercolor.
Painterly look.
I don't know what that style is called.
That's the technical term.
Yeah. Whereas Skyward Sword's like watercolor. The gameplay so far is very fun. I like that. The story. Okay, first off, I mean, I don't know how much I want to dive into any sort of spoilers here, but right away the story grabbed me. It was like the game starts with like a shot-for-shot Breath of the Wild intro with a blinding light, like, woo, and then like a dialogue box that pops up. Open your eyes. No, it doesn't say open your eyes, but it
does say, yeah.
It says, "Are you a boy or a girl?" No, it actually doesn't ask that. It just says, "What do you look like?" Yeah, yeah. And so then you pick that in. This may be spoilery, so if you don't want this story spoiler bit here, it appears, just skip ahead a little bit, it appears that we are from the future.
I mean, this is something you find out in like literally 15 seconds.
Yeah, you have like a regular modern looking t-shirt and shorts with some flip-flops, and you fall out of the sky into ancient Sinnoh, which is Hisui, the Hisui region, and you are found by the Pokemon professor, and this one thing leads to another. You are suddenly an assistant for the Pokemon professor's program, and you're working with the Galactic Exploration Team, I believe is what they're Galactic Exploration Corp.
I mean, which is just like a real bold name to name your exploration thing when you're exploring like
a new region,
a small area. Yeah, a region.
Also very bold of them to name their expedition corps after the bad guys of Gen 4. I mean, they came first technically, but Team Galactic, I mean, you get one of their first outfits you unlock is the Team Galactic grunt suit. Like, what is happening?
They've gone astray.
Yeah, I'm really curious to what the plot is going to be and like how that's all going to tie together, because there's like definitely character ties from this game that are like, these are the ancient ancestors to these characters because they look very similar. Yeah, they have like a Professor Rowan. They have an equivalent for the main characters are like the main characters from Diamond and Pearl. Couple gym leader type. Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm super intrigued by that as someone who's a big fan of Gen 4 Pokemon. I'm very intrigued to see where they're going to go with the story, because there's a time space rift in the sky, and
people sometimes fall out of.
Yeah, also explains why you have a cell phone in Ancient Sinnoh. People were complaining about that in the trailers. They're like, the Pokedex is a cell phone. It's not. The Pokedex is a book. The cell phone is like a Sheikah slate, essentially. Yeah. So, yeah. And then there's like a couple small things that just like were mind-bogglingly cool to me. The battles, you can walk around in it, like your Pokemon are engaged in the battle. And I don't know, I should have tested like how far away you can go from that, but you could run around.
You can just abandon your Pokemon.
I stood in between them while they were fighting, and I was like, "Whoa!" I didn't get hurt. I was like, "This is so cool." You can like watch the battle from different angles. You run around, and then when you do commands, your character like looks at the Pokemon. It's like, "Do this," and it feels very much more like the anime. And
I think it'd be cool if at some point you were getting attacked by other Pokemon while you had to like give your Pokemon commands, so you had to like keep dodging while also strategizing.
Yeah, I wonder if that will be a thing.
I'm hoping something like that happens at some point.
I think that's kind of the boss battles, at least the way they've described it. It will be a mix of the two. But I think it is going, okay, you're doing turn-based battle. Okay, now you're dodging attacks from this Pokemon. So it's still not like at the same time.
Throwing little bags when I saw it from a trailer.
Yeah. So I'm not super far in. Like I said, I was feeling under the weather today. I really didn't feel up to playing anything. So hopefully I will recover and be able to return to the game tomorrow.
Are you doing like a Nuzlocke fancy thing?
No. And I am really trying to think how I would even do that, because
it's also you like have to catch a bunch of Pokemon.
Yeah, the goal of the game is to complete the Pokédex, and you have to catch a certain amount to progress, at least at the very beginning. So I don't know.
I guess like the only thing I can think of right now is you just release whatever Pokemon fainted, then you just have to go catch them again or something.
Yeah, or you go put them into the storage spot, it's not a PC, it's just a ranch that you go put them in.
Which I feel like is a lot nicer to the Pokemon.
Yeah. I learned that canonically Pokemon can shrink down to incredibly small size. That is how they are in they're like, Pokemon have the ability to shrink down to incredibly small size, and these Pokeballs help them to do that, so that we can capture them, and they're in there nice and comfortable. It's like, what?
But from what I've seen, it's just a big ball on the inside. What do they do in there?
I for some reason, I thought they were like digitized.
I mean, that's definitely what happens in like the older anime and things. Like the beam comes out and they turn into the red beam and then just come back.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of
inconsistency.
Changing.
Maybe the technology hasn't progressed enough yet, so they're just using Pokemon's natural ability to shrink really small. Makes no sense.
And then eventually they change.
The character designs. So the Dawn equivalent, the female protagonist from Diamond and Pearl, Akari, in the game is my favorite character so far. She's just so sassy. It's pretty hilarious. Like, she's like, "So where did you meet our new friend here, Professor?" And he's like, "He fell from a portal in the sky." And she just looks at him with like, "What?" and just she's like, "You can't be serious." like just completely so annoyed. And all the characters' facial expressions are really good. I feel like maybe one nitpick, it would be cool if in the cutscenes there was some voice acting. I think the game would benefit from that. But oh well, it's pretty good as is. So yeah, there you go. definitely recommend it so far. I still am in the new phase, right? So I'm hyped up, but every review out there is extremely positive. This game is delivering in ways that I think people were a little bit surprised. Honestly, it was very mixed going in. I was mixed going in.
Yeah, I was hopeful, and it sounds like, I mean, I was relatively hopeful, but I wasn't actually expecting all that much.
Yeah.
It sounds like my expectations have been surpassed.
I think you are going to really enjoy this game, especially as someone who really enjoys the collectathon side of things. This is that, and then Pokemon refined to a very good point. It's that next step. You know, we've always talked about that. We felt like Sword and Shield was a mid step.
Yeah, that was their like practice to see
yeah
the wild area, see how that would work and whatnot.
Yeah, this is a good next step. This is a full step forward, not a half step forward. Anyways, that's what I've been playing. So Micah, why don't we move to the next segment of our show that I'm always so excited to get to, that I call the first segment this segment, and that is the Nintendo News. In today's Nintendo News, there's actually not a whole lot to talk about this week, honestly, because Pokemon Legends come out. That has just taken over the internet world and game reports.
What am I trying to say? It's whatever everyone is. It's wow. What? It's what everyone is talking about. My brain struggled so hard.
I really liked the stop. What? I can't even think of what to say. Yeah. So, but we have dug, and we have found some news to talk about. And there's some things that may have slipped by your radar. First off, Retro Studios put out another set of job listings for work on Metroid Prime 4. Always a little weird when they are hiring at this stage in development, which you would assume is much farther along. It has been 3 years since they scrapped development and restarted with Retro. The question does come up, what was Retro working on before this? Why hasn't that come out?
Maybe they just all had a long vacation.
Yeah, after Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. That came out forever ago. It's like, I really wonder what they were working on. Maybe there's something we can talk about in the rumor mill, because there may be some rumors around that. But yeah, I'm a little bummed to see that they're hiring, and these look like integral, like tools engineer and like.
Yeah, I was like, this seems like something like a technology engineer. It seems like something they'd need like at the beginning.
Yeah.
Which is a little concerning.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what those roles are supposed to be. Maybe they're coming in to clean stuff up. But we said that about the last time they put out job listings, which was like a year ago at this point.
Yeah.
Like, oh, maybe they're just coming in to clean up stuff at the end. It's coming out in 2022. Oh, it's not looking good. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm sort of thinking that it will be 2023 earliest. That's my thinking.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming out this year.
Yeah. Next up, we have... I wanted to remind everybody, because I had completely forgotten, that Triangle Strategy is coming out March 4th, 2022. That's very soon, like a month or so away.
You still planning on picking that up?
I don't know. It's coming out at such a busy time. I don't know if that's a like tier 1 buy or a tier 2 buy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
when I have the option to buy.
After Legends, there's the new Kirby coming out relatively soon after that, I think. I want to say it's March or something, isn't it?
Yeah, Kirby's coming out in March. Plus, isn't like Advance Wars coming out sometime then as well? Don't remember that one exactly. But yeah, it's like, dang, what? Why would you put Triangle Strategy? I mean, it's not first party Nintendo, but it is being flaunted as a big title. It's just like so many games between that and Kirby. I got to go with Kirby, you know? And can I really get 2 full price games that close together? I mean, like I guess it's just my wallet is crying, and it is crying in pain. This year, it looks at this year and shakes in fear.
Yeah, my wallet also isn't too happy with how this year is shaping up.
Yeah, yeah. And, I mean, we're looking at seriously like a big ticket game every single month, at least. And we don't even know what's coming latter half of the year, but we have all these like promised things in 2022. Bayonetta 3, Splatoon 3, Breath of the Wild 2.
I always forget about Splatoon 3 coming out.
Yeah. I mean, that plus like there's so many other potential things. And yeah. But, you know, while we're talking about Kirby and the Forgotten Land, I did want to mention this bit in the news here. Kirby and the Forgotten Lands is getting the red carpet for promo from Nintendo. It is being treated like first-class game, like almost daily postings about the game, reminder that it's coming out, and like character highlights and things like that. It's like Metroid Dread's promotional material, and Metroid Dread got the biggest promo, I think, of any Metroid game ever. I think this may be the biggest promo Kirby's ever gotten as well. So Nintendo coming in with an interesting strategy here. They are pushing hard on these big IPs that they have that aren't necessarily their top. Like you think,
but they're still like well-loved IPs.
Right.
The people that like them are big fans.
Yeah. If you're doing a tier list, you've got like S tier, which is going to be Mario Bros, Zelda, and now
Metroid.
Now Animal Crossing. But they're A tier. I'd say Metroid falls into the A tier for like how Nintendo,
for like sales and
yeah, how Nintendo views it, not how we view it in our hearts. Because these are all S tiers to me. But yeah, so it's like these A tier games they are pushing hard for, and they're pushing for the B tier games too. Advance Wars is getting quite the promo.
You're going to upset some people saying that.
Advance Wars is not up at the same level as Metroid Kirby. I'm sorry, guys. It's not. Nintendo doesn't treat it like that. I again, not in our hearts. In our hearts, all of these are wonderful.
Maybe in my heart a little bit. I mean, I haven't actually played an Advance War game, so it's going to be a good time for me to try it out, I guess.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this year's going to go. I mean, I factored it out, and it's looking like I will be spending like $1,000 this year on new Switch games at this rate. I mean, if we're getting a new game every single month, and they're ones I want, it's not like, you know, it's not like I'm buying them because I'm on the Nintendo Pals podcast and I like need to play what's new and hot. No, these are ones I actually want.
And you haven't had a game to play in a while,
right? No, I have so many games to play. That's not my problem. Yeah. I'm like, it's crazy. This is a good problem to have. I would rather have too much coming out than not enough, you know?
Yeah.
This is,
because you can always show some restraint and willpower and not buy things.
Right. Yeah, you still have the choice.
For some of us.
Yeah. Wait. Yes, that's
Take
true.
that how you will. No, I'm just kidding.
This is the flood, the hose of wonderful Nintendo goodness that we get after the desert that was the Wii U.
Yeah,
you know?
but Wii U had some pretty good games, I think.
Well, yes.
Well,
yes, and you played every single one of them because there were not very many. And guess what? All of them came to Switch and then sold more on Switch. That's what I'm saying. Is like
some of them probably sold more than Wii U units. Yeah. Probably not actually accurate, but it's probably relatively close.
Games felt really spread out in the Wii U era, and now they feel like, I mean, we're just hitting a crazy stride with games coming to the Switch. Also, I'm still excited for Kingdom Hearts, the cloud versions. Micah, we didn't really get to talk about this too much last week. We touched briefly on it. There's been there's been a little bit of a backlash to the cloud versions of this game being pretty overpriced, which I agree, because you can get these same collections that are coming via cloud versions to the Switch. You can get these for significantly cheaper on PlayStation, like $20 per game versus $60 per 3 games, and I think the full bundle is like $90 or something like that. It's just a lot, especially for a cloud version. But I think these.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
They probably have to expend more resources. Well, in some ways, expend more resources with the cloud version. So I can kind of understand why that would increase prices, but at the same time, they're essentially always inferior versions because of whatever sort of lag or input delay there will be.
Yeah,
although
you're right.
You could run it on weaker systems and get better graphics.
Well, the thing is, the first 2 games for sure could have been ported to Switch, yeah. And I feel like people would have eaten those up if they had done that, and then cloud version for the third, because the third is graphically a lot more intense. Like it's a beautiful looking game, looks gorgeous. I could see that and it being received better. I wonder how well this is going to sell. Personally, I'm probably just going to get Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'll probably get the cloud version of that, because I don't have another way to play it. And yeah, but I think that's gonna be it. No diehard Kingdom Hearts fan is going to buy a cloud version for Switch. They're gonna buy it on.
Yeah, if they're a diehard fan, they probably have means of buying it on other systems.
Right. I could see if they had put it on like a cart and put it on like the actual game, then you gain the advantage of the portability, which a lot of people would love to play Kingdom Hearts games portably. Yeah, so I have mixed feelings about it. I'm still excited for it because I finally will have a way to play it. But I am a little sad that they decided to give it such a hefty price tag. But flip side of this, I think that a lot of companies are really trying to push the narrative that cloud versions are just as good as non-cloud versions, which isn't true. But from the company's perspective, they want it to be because they want to be able to charge that much. Could you imagine if they had so a new game? Kingdom Hearts is a kind of a weird example here because it's not new. It's actually pretty old at this point. But say Dying Light 2, I believe, is coming via cloud version. If it was cheaper on the cloud than the physical, what sort of dynamic would that change in the sales figures? Would people go for the cloud version because it's cheaper? I feel like there would be a good chunk of people that would, and then the gaming, the core gaming fans would still go for non-cloud.
Yeah, and those with bad internet.
Yeah.
Non-cloud.
I just don't. I feel like cloud is trying to jump into the market. We're trying to jump into the cloud market a little too early. I think the infrastructure's not there. They're charging full price for it, and I get it. I don't know what I can't imagine a company would charge under full price for a new game coming via cloud, but it just doesn't feel good.
Yeah, between cloud and just digital or a hard copy, I don't know anyone who would choose the cloud if they're all the same price.
Yep. I don't think anybody would. Unless it's your only option. And that kind of justifies that kind of justifies the existence of it because you don't have another way to play it. But I don't know. Like, I think Kingdom Hearts would have more than made up for its sales had it come physical and regular digital. I think for sure it would have.
Yeah, and then I just put Panic Button in charge of porting it to the Switch.
Seriously,
you could get it running.
Seriously, it might be a little blurry, but it'll be there. Panic Button does a good job. They really do. So yeah, that's about all we have to talk in the Nintendo news. I mean, it was interesting. I am in a weird spot with how I feel about cloud gaming. I don't really like it personally, but there's like a part of me that's like, I think it may be too soon, you know?
But it's potentially the future.
Potentially.
Eventually.
I think that there will always be the space for the physical collecting and for the regular digital having the actual thing on your system. I think that will always be.
Then you might not have to buy a really expensive console. They just have their super fancy, extra powerful servers, and you could have all sorts of incredible games that you can play
if you have good internet, which is like less than half of the U.S. It's awesome for Japan, where internet is like very, very well structured there. But I mean, pretty much everywhere else in the world, there's some rough goes with cloud. Alrighty, well, the next segment of our show, we're going to be jumping to the rumor mill. Alrighty, in the rumor mill this week, we have rumors churning for a Nintendo Direct coming in February 2022. This year. I don't know. It's coming in February 2023. I don't know why I specified the year. But let me tell you that this is the safest rumor I think anybody's ever started. Because we've had directs in February a lot. This is kind of the time post holiday to introduce some of the stuff that's going to be coming and maybe highlight some things that are coming between now and E3. Also wants to pitch in the rumor that Metroid Prime 4 will never release.
Yeah, I'd like to also pitch in the rumor that I'm going to murder.
Whoa! That is extreme. We do not condone that sort of behavior here.
I mean, playing Smash Bros or something with him. What were you thinking?
Let's settle this in Smash, Oso. Yeah, bring it. No. So the rumor that we will be getting a Direct in February 2022. There's some other rumors circulating around that are Metroid Prime related. That's right. The rumor has it that Metroid Prime 1 remaster, a remaster of Metroid Prime 1 will be coming in the latter half of 2022.
I feel like this has kind of been a rumor for a while, but they're finally narrowing down when it's supposed to come out.
This is what Retro has been rumored to be working on prior to Metroid Prime 4. And it is like done, ready to go, and they're maybe that's I don't know.
They don't want to release it too much before Metroid Prime 4 so the hype doesn't die down.
Could be a good sign for Metroid Prime coming at the latter half of 2022. For Metroid Prime 4 to be coming at the early half of 2023. That makes sense. That checks out to me. They're not going to want to wait.
I imagine that at least wouldn't want it to come out like a year after.
Exactly.
Or more, if they're trying to use this to hype up.
So let's hope. I mean, if we see anything Metroid Prime, we're gonna be ecstatic. I would really like this actually. You have talked up everybody.
Finally play it.
Everybody has talked up Metroid Prime 1 being like the greatest Metroid game ever.
So good.
And so I would really love to play a full remaster.
I mean, it has I think a 97% on Metacritic.
Yeah, it's very highly rated. Very good game. I've gotta try it.
And I mean, it has been a little while since I've played it again, but the last time I played it was still a while after it came out, and it still held up very well.
Yeah, you played the HD port to
I played
Wii,
the
on
trilogy
Wii U.
on Wii.
Yeah, yeah, and that I mean that was within the last 5 years, but the game came out a long time ago. We're old. We're old. It came out forever ago. Along with that Metroid Prime rumor, there are rumors churning and circulating of a new Fire Emblem coming out. Or maybe a remake, or maybe both.
Maybe just the dating.
Maybe it's
One
just,
can
it's just
hope.
a Fire Emblem dating sim.
I mean, cut out all that lame strategy stuff and like fighting.
That would be pretty cool.
Give us the good stuff.
If we get a new Fire Emblem, I'd be down for that. Maybe I'd finally jump in to the series.
Maybe you could get maybe 3 houses would get like a little price cut.
Yeah,
and maybe I'd jump in on that.
Maybe you jump in on 3 houses.
I'm all about those sales.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder what would be next for the series. I mean, it's clearly going to keep going. It makes buco bucks. People love Fire Emblem. You know, it's so funny.
Battle Royale. It's their next step.
It's so funny that like this series that was Japan exclusive for a good chunk of time, and then came over to the States and really like took off, especially during the 3DS era with Fire Emblem Awakening and beyond. Like it just took off, and you know they took over Smash Bros. It's now Fire Emblem Bros.
For real though.
I mean. It's like their most successful mobile app besides Pokemon Go. Like, it's a big deal. People love this game, this series, and I apologize that I haven't played like any of it except for Awakening for a bit.
Played the one on my phone a little bit, partially for those platinum points.
For those platinum points, let's go.
But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I think that would be really cool to see that. We're due for something, maybe something new Mario related, something new Donkey Kong related, and so you know there's really a lot that could be tapped into, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited for this E3 coming up.
Yeah,
it sounds like there might be a lot of extra cool things.
I mean, the way
half of the year,
the first half of the year is stacked up, it seems like we're going to be having a major release every. Like the cork has finally popped on all the things that were in development during COVID. You know,
yeah,
everything's ready, everything's gone gold, so it's all ready to go. Now they're just pacing it out month by month. What a spot to be in as Nintendo, because they can just be like, all right, we're just gonna keep on putting stuff out and just keep on raking in the monies. Yeah. And that is what we have going for the rumor mill this week. Anything you're hoping to see in a E3 for February? You know, besides it being later in the day than like 6 a.m. for you?
I mean, I would definitely be excited to see some more Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And if they, for some reason, somehow want to show off some Prime 4, I'd be all there for that. I'd actually also love to see a 3D Donkey Kong that has been kind of rumored for a while. Because I think there are a lot of cool things you could do.
Oh, you're going to. It's going to be like Donkey Kong 64 coming to NSO.
I'd be a little disappointed, but at the same time, I would still play it.
Yeah, that would be a cool one to bring to NSO.
Not gonna lie, I didn't even know Donkey Kong 64 was a thing until like a year ago.
Yeah, it's very similar to Banjo, actually.
I don't know how I managed to like never hear about it.
It's very fun. Life. I liked it. It's got mixed critical reception, I think, and mixed reception among the Donkey Kong fans. I think it was a step in a good direction. Let's get more of that. Bring back Lanky Kong. Let's go. Yeah. I wonder how much will be in a February Direct and like what they will have to show. I think we'll probably see more Kirby. We'll probably see more things we know are coming. Probably more Splatoon 3, right? Maybe they'll give a date to Splatoon 3. That will be sometime around E3, like close after.
Although if it's in the second half of the year, they probably wouldn't say anything, depending on how soon.
I think it's a summer. I think it's summer release because E3 is usually June, right? So I think.
Oh yeah, have they mentioned summer? 2022 or
no, they haven't. That's just my guess. I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be too late because they wouldn't want to compete with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, and I think
that's... Yeah, I mean, if it's only like a month or two after E3, they'd probably show us something.
I think that's an October, November game. October, right around my birthday, Nintendo. That would be really nice for just me. And for everybody. Everybody would love to have Breath of the Wild as soon as possible. Please.
Yeah. Oh, man. They shadow drop it in the Direct.
So I had this question asked on Discord, and I am curious your answer. Have you ever taken time off for a game release?
Nope.
Taken a day off school or work?
Trying to think to make sure I haven't. I don't think I have.
I have not. I have not done that before. I think when Breath of the Wild first came out, I think it launched. I wasn't working at that point, anyways. I was in college, maybe in between jobs in college.
Give a couple classes, maybe.
Yeah. Couple failed courses. It's fine.
Yeah.
It averages out, Yeah. So that would have been. And Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be. I mean, I'll take the day of launch off for that. Probably do a.
What if they launch it on like a Saturday and you just don't even work that day anyways?
That would be pretty neat. Then I'll take off. Then I'll take off the following
Monday.
Yeah, I'll take off the following Monday. Yeah. Yep.
Are you gonna tell them why? Or are you just going to be like, I have some things going on there. I suddenly think I might not be feeling very well this day.
Maybe I'll just, like, why lie? I'm playing Breath of the Wild. I think everybody that I work with would understand,
You'll probably have to, apply for it early so that you can get it before the others.
Yeah. It's just should become a national holiday, like
Breath of the Wild 2 day.
Yep. Alrighty, well, with that, let's move to the last segment of our show, Mike, and let's jump to the Community Corner. And in today's Community Corner, the real meat and potatoes of this episode. Push those carrots and that broccoli to the side, the corn, the salad, what other side dishes you got here? You push all that to the side. We're in the meat and potatoes now, okay?
Yeah, the only sides I like are like desserts and things.
Yeah. And if you're a vegetarian, we have vegetarian.
We have water.
Meat. We have water. We have water. So
I actually don't need that much.
So what are we doing here, Micah? Can you give us an explanation? What's happening in this segment?
We will be listing our top 5 favorite games from each Nintendo handheld device. Grouping Game Boy and Game Boy Color, though, as per my understanding.
Yeah, and 3DS and new 3DS as well.
Oh, yeah. And the DSi.
There were a couple. Yeah, DS is DSi, all that's... I mean, DSi didn't have its own exclusive games. Sort of. There may be something in my list that will push the limits there. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we're going to go up through the 3DS. We've already given our top 10 for the Nintendo Switch. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, we can't really give the Nintendo Switch again. So, we're not going to do that again.
Yeah. I mean, it's practically handheld as well, but we already did it.
Yeah. So, let's start here. Coming in at number 5 for me for Game Boy is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
You can't see because it's real small. But
you have it? What? You have that game? No way! Yeah. I didn't know we both had that.
So good.
Is that on your list?
It is on my list. I don't know if you knew this, but you can apparently beat the game and lose the house point contest thing.
Yeah. So
I assume that wasn't possible until my sister did that.
Let's talk about how great this game is. Okay, this is sort of the end of an era of good licensed games. We're kind of coming back to it. I mean, you see games like Spider-Man, and
Spider-Man's
Avengers.
Real good. Actually, I feel like Spider-Man stayed at least pretty good.
Yeah, but for the most part, movie license turning into games.
Yeah, or just generally cash grabs.
Pretty bad. Yeah. But this game is actually a very fun RPG. It's very fun. Turn-based fighting against magical creatures, and it follows more closely the plot of the books, or of the book, than it does the movie. In that you have house points that you earn as like its own mechanic in the game, and you can do things to earn house points. I never made it very far. This game's pretty challenging.
What? Oh man, I think I've beaten this game like 3 times. Maybe.
Really? Okay. Well,
I remember almost nothing about it though, to be honest.
Same. I was just like, I remember this game being so fun. I loved the music was really good. They did a great job translating the movie soundtrack into.
And I'd always save and quit in the restricted section to unlock all the things, because at one point you're like going through and you just have to grab books, and some of them just set off alarms when you like miss out on like a spell you can learn. I don't know if you cheated that way, but I definitely cheated that way.
I didn't make it that far.
What?
I need to go back and play this game.
Hopefully it's as good as we remember.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's my actual number 5 though is Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories. I feel like I should mention that real quick.
All right. Tell me about Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories. I've heard good things about Yu-Gi-Oh! Games on handheld.
Well, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! And you duel. And some of them are kind of dark, and stories may be involved. I don't remember any story to this game at all, essentially. I just remember you like fight your way up ranks of people, and one of them has all the pieces of Exodia. So you can suddenly, it just like cuts to a cutscene kind of Exodia, and you've lost. And that's kind of the worst, but it's still pretty great.
Man, I've forgotten so much about Yu-Gi-Oh! Lore. I don't even remember what the Exodia is.
What? The 5 pieces of Exodia, the arms, the legs, and the head?
Is it?
And if you get all 5, you automatically win. If you like the necklace?
Yeah.
It's like a person.
Yeah, but no, what's the pyramid necklace? Is that a piece of that?
No.
This is probably how it feels to listen to so many people talk about Pokemon. Like me talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm like, oh, Yugi had this like necklace that turned him into the Pharaoh. Everybody had one.
I feel like I knew what those were about until you asked me this question.
I remember like everybody had one of these.
They're just like ancient artifacts.
Yeah, the bad guy had an eye that was.
The eye, let him see the other person's hand or something.
All I remember is that it's time to.
Oh yeah, so good. That intro is incredible, and I remember the main boss of this game. At least I'm pretty sure it is actually Yugi's grandfather. Oh, so that's pretty great.
That is pretty great.
But yeah, I just remember I played that game a bunch.
Yeah, so there you go, Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duels. All right, well, coming in at number 4 for me, I have Kirby's Dreamland. This is a very fun Kirby game. Is this the first one? It might be the first Kirby. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. There's not much to say about it. It was the start of the series, so I don't even remember if there are power-ups in this one. Like you
weird Kirby game without absorbing any powers.
Yeah, you can shoot enemies out of your mouth, like
it's like the star thing. That does seem kind of familiar.
Yeah.
With not having power-ups.
So not a ton to say about it other than I really enjoyed it. The music is phenomenal. So yeah, that's my number 4. What is your number 4?
My number 4 would be the Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stone.
Let's go. I don't know
I feel
how
like I was the only one that ever played that game.
Yeah, I don't know how we've never talked about this before. This is like we've learned something new about each other. Best friends for well over a decade. We both played the same Game
always
Boy.
Something new to learn.
I do know we both played a the same game on Game Boy Color, and it is my number 3, and that is Super Mario Bros. DX. You just have them all handy. I don't know.
I haven't actually ordered them beforehand. I just have them sitting in front of me, and on a whim, I'm going to order them.
Nice. I really like this game. I think it might be a little hard to go back to. I watched recently Cosmic played through it, and it's so weird. The camera's like extra zoomed in so that Mario's the right size, and I'm like, I feel like I would struggle playing on the Game Boy tiny screen. But that was a Game Boy. That was a Game Boy Color title. So there you go.
I think I'll put the same thing as my number 3, Super Mario Deluxe.
I am very surprised our lists are so similar.
I didn't think we had played many of the same Game Boy games.
I think, and you're gonna be surprised by what I got for my top 2 here. Number 2, Tetris.
I mean, it is a classic.
It is the Tetris that everybody played. It's probably not the best version of Tetris, to be honest. I mean, it no colors because it's just the classic Game Boy Green. So I don't have a ton of nostalgia for that look. A lot of people do. A lot of people like they include a mode that makes it look like that. Yeah. Look at those green squares. I think it's a fantastic game. It's Tetris. I mean, there's not much more to say. It's the greatest puzzle game like ever made.
At least for the time.
Until Tetris Attack came.
At least the best, very simple puzzle game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of skill involved, but it's a very simple concept, I guess.
Yeah. What's your number 2?
My number 2, I'm kind of tying them, cheating a little bit. Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, and Oracle of Ages. I don't remember which is like which, what happens in each, so I just combined them into one game in my mind.
They're kind of, it was kind of like a Pokemon Red Blue release, right?
Yeah, as I say, the only thing I seem to remember you have like different animal friends that you can get. That might not even be correct, but I seem to remember them being very similar.
Yeah, I've heard great things. I need to play the Oracle games. I hope those get a remaster, like Link's Awakening. Yeah. Shout out to Link's Awakening for being like, was that the first one to come to? I believe so. I believe that was a Game Boy title, and then Oracle, it was Game Boy Color. So
yeah, and
you don't remember the animal friends? No, there's like a kangaroo with boxing gloves.
Yeah, the kangaroo.
I remember
the
that
swimming thing.
Yeah,
some guy that like jumps and glides. I can't remember. Is that the kangaroo? I've already forgotten.
Fantastic series.
But if you beat both of them and do some like fancy Link thing, you can like fight some extra special Ganon fight or something like that. And I don't actually remember if I did that. I don't know if I found out about that way later.
Nice. All right, Micah, I will let you go with your number 1 first.
Oh, my number 1, still in the Game Boy. Pokemon Crystal.
This is also my number 1.
The greatest Pokemon game ever made.
I put it as number 1, even though I have probably only played it for like a little bit. I played Silver, and I think Crystal is better than Silver and Gold, and so it deserves the top slot. You could kind of put them all in if you want to cheat, but I'm gonna say Pokemon Crystal is the definitive best one, and it is super good.
As far as I know, there aren't really any upsides to Silver and Gold over Crystal.
No, there aren't.
But I don't think I've played them, so I can't really say.
Yeah, Silver was one of the first games that I remember playing. Which, actually, that's not true. That's not true. But first handheld game. I'll put it that way. It's one of the first handheld games I remember playing. I lost my copy of Pokemon Silver in between moves, and very sad. Oh, don't know what happened to it.
That is sad.
But yeah, that's our top 5 Game Boy games. Those are the ones.
3 of the same, weren't they?
That's weird. Surprising. This is way closer than our console list. Like we hardly had any overlap. And 3 of them we had in like the same spot. Well, that's not true. We had 2 in the same spot. But yeah, there you go. There you have it. Pokemon Crystal. If you're gonna get any games on these systems, these are the ones to get, because our opinion is the best around.
Yeah. At least like mine's the best on like everything.
Right.
Andros isn't the best on most things, so
I'll accept that. I'll accept that. I mean, I did play Kirby Clash a whole bunch, so my opinion may not be on what constitutes a game as good. May be a little flawed, but you know what? I like what I like, and you'll like it too. Give it a try. Those 5 games, all awesome. I'll let you start this next list, though. We're moving on to the Game Boy Advance.
I think.
Wait, can I just start here first? Actually, saying that I for a long time called the Game Boy Advance the Game Boy Advanced with a D at the end,
with extra D.
Yeah, which is not accurate. I still slip up.
It kind of makes sense though. It's like the Game Boy but advanced.
But it's advanced. Yeah.
I mean, I'll make fun of you for that for sure.
But
it's
still
understandable.
I still slip up and say advanced, and hopefully nobody notices. You just got to make that D really, really quiet. Yeah. The Game Boy Advance. Yeah.
I think my number 5 would be Castlevania Circle of the Moon.
I saw this on a lot of top lists. I haven't played this game. I haven't played any Castlevania games.
The only part I remember of it is like what I actually mentioned on stream when you're playing Banjo-Kazooie. I went in some poisony water area and made it all the way to the boss before realizing that was not what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to get boots first. That made it so I didn't take damage from that or something. And I couldn't get back out. And I ended up coming back months later and finally making it back out to finish the game.
That is rough.
Yeah, that was a bit of a bummer. Because I got to the boss. I mean, some speedrunners and people who were really good could probably do that, but I just got absolutely smoked when I got it.
Alrighty, well, coming in for number 5 for me, another licensed title, funny enough, Spider-Man the Movie, the game.
That's a terrible name.
I think it's just called Spider-Man. It's not called the movie, the game. But there are multiple Spider-Man Game Boy Advance games. This is the one I'm referring to, the movie tie-in. It's actually a very fun platformer with really good Spider-Man mechanics. You have different forms that you can use your web shooters for. It does not follow the movie at all. Like, it's got Kraven in it. He's not in the movie, and like this whole like in between before you get to the end with the Green Goblin on the bridge and Mary Jane, like it fills the gaps quite a bit with nothing that was in the movie. So
it's like the movie but extra.
Yeah.
It's considered the extended edition.
I mean, that's how the Harry Potter one was as well. I mean, it had elements from the movie, but it really followed a lot of creative liberties and tie-in with the book.
Yeah. And also, I just remember at the very beginning when you're going to pick up all Harry's gold he has, you fight a giant rat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Like the king rat. Yeah.
That wasn't in the book as far as I remember.
Yeah, I don't know. So this Spider-Man game, I think, is a fantastic platformer. I have fond memories playing this quite a bit. My brother got it for his birthday. He's a big Spider-Man fan, and I played through the whole thing as well as him. There you go. What do you... so next up, go ahead.
My number 4 is actually kind of similar. Aragon. This Aragon Game Boy Advance game, which I enjoyed. That was pretty good. Yes, it's another RPG.
Is it better than the movie? I actually
played a lot of RPGs. Oh, it's better than the movie, for sure. I guess
that's awesome. Okay, so the game has some redemptive quality because the movie
I don't remember the
horrible.
storyline of it really, and I'm pretty sure the final there's something weird with the final boss of this game where I lose but I win. I don't understand. Like at some point in the final boss, you just like eventually die, I think, but you still win, or it just glitched that time.
This is one of those this is one of those things where it's like, man, they need to make more games out of books. That needs to be like a more normal thing instead of just jumping.
Sanderson.
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. I've been finding Brandon Sanderson fans everywhere. I mean, he's a pretty popular author, but it's like, all these Discords, people are like, I gotta recommend this fantasy series called The Stormlight Archive. I'm like, did somebody say Stormlight Archive? I'm there. Cosmere, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, but I just in general,
like games. I mean, I feel like you probably also have to take some creative liberties,
sure,
to make it more game-like in some areas. But you can also do more justice to the story because you have like more time.
Yep.
To have it play out than
I think these games did better justice to the books than. I mean, I don't know about Aragorn because I didn't play that one. But
yeah, I don't remember the story of this game.
Harry Potter, Spider-Man definitely follows more the comic books, like with what happens to fill in because they needed more levels than the movie would provide. And that's the thing is like I feel like movie adaptations automatically you lose a lot because they're limited to runtime, where a story going to a video game, it just gains because it becomes an interactive medium.
Yeah.
Let's do this more. My number 4 is Metroid Fusion, which I have not beat, but I love it. It's super fun. It's my first experience with Metroid. Very, very creepy. Very, very scary. The SAX variant of whatever they're not Metroids.
Parasite
X. Oh, so creepy. Chasing you around in a suit and its face it's like this faceless monster. Oh man, it's so well done. Really good horror game, I guess. It's not really horror, it's more thriller, suspenseful.
Yeah.
Very, very well done.
Yeah, I mean, considering how much I love Metroid and things, you'd probably think I have some Metroid games on this list.
No, you don't. You didn't play this.
You might be wrong. You might be correct though. But that just something reminded me of Metroid Prime. Just how you can see your reflection in the visor sometimes, depending on what's happening in the environment, and it's like the small touches that make that game so good.
Yeah.
I just had to talk about Metroid Prime any excuse I get.
Oh, for sure. Well, so Metroid isn't on your list, but what is on your list? What's number 3 for you?
Number 3 would probably be Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap.
Oh, if I had played this one, I feel like I missed out on a lot of handheld Zelda.
And you call yourself a Nintendo fan?
Yeah, I do. I do call myself a Nintendo. I call myself a Nintendo pal. A pal that likes Nintendo.
Oh, I thought you were a pal to Nintendo.
A pal to Nintendo. Hey, Nintendo and I are buddies. We go way back.
Kind of do.
Kind of do.
One-sided a little bit, though, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, Nintendo doesn't call themselves Andros pals.
Yeah.
Nah. New podcast, official Nintendo podcast coming out. And Andros pals. It's a podcast entirely about me by Nintendo.
That would be
a choice.
Potentially disturbing. Like, they just don't even tell you about it. You just like suddenly find out they've been researching you to make a podcast about.
Yeah, yep. Okay, tell me about Minish Cap then. As someone who is uneducated.
You have this hat and it talks to you, and you can sometimes get really small and get up to all sorts of
This is the best explanation of Minish Cap I've ever
you can like
heard.
break into people's houses at times, and it's just a lot of fun.
That is great. You have a hat that talks to you and you turn small sometimes. Minish Cap, the synopsis.
I mean, it's practically the precursor of Mario Odyssey.
Ooh.
With slightly less possession.
My number 3 is Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. The first Kingdom Hearts game that I played, which is very confusing because it is halfway through the game's story. Actually, way further than that if you count the prequels. So it comes in right where Game 1 leaves off, but it basically repeats the events of Game 1 with brand new mechanics. that makes any sense. So in game 1, you're going to each of the Disney worlds, you're saving Disney princesses, and then in the end there's a big old battle with the forces of darkness. Sora uses the power of friendship and love to seal the darkness. Classic. And boom, story ends. But sealing the darkness trapped Mickey and Riku on the other side of the door to Kingdom Hearts. So in this game, they are off to find Mickey and Riku. And you start as Sora in what is known as Castle Oblivion. The farther you get in, though, the more Sora's memories start to get a little bit warped, and he replaces... Like there is a spell or something happening to him that is causing him to lose his memories. By the time he gets to the top where he thinks the people he is saving is... But that's completely changed. This is confusing. I mean, Kingdom Hearts is so confusing to explain. He has completely forgotten about the main female, and so have I. I don't even remember her name. Kairi, and has replaced Kairi with Namine, the witch who has cast the spell on him. Oh. And Namine turns against the bad guys last minute and helps Sora.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, she helps Sora, and
no spoilers. Yes.
Spoilers. And Sora then enters into a pod to restore his memories. Simultaneously, while this is happening, Riku appears in the basement of this castle. And so once you beat this game, New Game Plus, you're playing the game again as Riku, but it is very different. He has a completely different story going on. He does go through some of the same worlds, but they're a lot shorter. And he has a different style. The main gimmick of this game was card fighting instead of a just regular real-time battle.
That a Keyblade fighting.
Yeah, it was still real-time battling, but it was with cards. It was actually very fun. I'd love to see a mechanic like that come back. It was mixed reception because it's very different from the original formula, right?
Yeah, but people are expecting the same.
But it would be cool. It would be cool if that came back in some other fashion, because it was really fun, because you're using the bumpers on the Game Boy Advance to shuffle between your cards while mashing your attack button, because you're like, okay, there, and you can see their card coming out and you want to play a bigger card, very war style, and so you're like, you try and hit it before they get the attack off and you can break their attack. There's just a lot of like fun details like that. The cards act as summons. You bring characters from Disney in. You got like Simba comes in and roars at people, and Genie comes in.
That's all he does. Then he leaves.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, they like teleport in Yu-Gi-Oh style. Like, boom, you summoned me. Attack out. Yeah.
Nice.
Very fun game. Highly recommend. It has since been re-released in the remasters to be a 3D game. So that one will be coming in those cloud versions that are coming to Switch, and is also available on other platforms. I don't know the difference. It was just impressive for what it was on the Game Boy, you know? Like, this is a huge game. It was really big.
Yeah. That does sound pretty cool. Almost as cool as my number 2, which is Golden Sun.
Nice.
Which is like the greatest game ever made, practically.
I'm surprised this is your number 1.
Well, you'll see.
Oh, okay.
What my number 1 is, but I won this from like school. We had this like year-long thing in one of our classes where you earn points for doing good things, and then we had an auction at the end of the year, and you could use those points to buy things. And I ended up winning this game.
No way. What a weird way to acquire Golden Sun.
And it was incredible.
That is
awesome. I loved it so much. It's, once again, an RPG. One of my favorites. Has really cool mechanics with like these Jin that give you powers and boost your stats. But if you use the Jin, then they go towards being able to summon, like use a summon, which is like an extra strong attack. And then it uses the used up ones, and then they go back on like a cooldown and then become available to be used again. And
seems interesting.
It's a very interesting mechanic that I feel like I haven't really played another game with that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's interesting that we both highlight an RPG style game that uses like a very unique battle system. Which is pretty cool.
And so, I mean, and you can actually give them to different, like they have the 4 different elements, and if you give them to different people, it unlocks different moves for them depending on the makeup of what they are. So,
Golden Sun, bring it back. Hashtag
great, yeah.
Bring Golden Sun back. Yeah. Okay, well, my number 2 is Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. You may have noticed that this was missing from my Game Boy and Game Boy Color list, and that is because it is better here. Significant improvements and enhancements, both graphically and to mechanics. I mean, you can run, which you could not do in the first game, and I personally find the art style of the GBA games to be a lot more pleasing to go back to than the Game Boy games. And Fire Red Leaf Green is a fantastic remake. And they did it just one generation later. Isn't that weird? It's like, all right, this came out one system ago. We're redoing it. So Pokemon's very early stages of milking their franchise. And
that's when they realized, like, wait, we can do this all the time.
Seriously. Yeah. It's really fun. This is the definitive way to play those games, I'd say. Well, that's my number 2.
My number 1 is Golden Sun: The Lost Age, which is the second one.
Okay, that's why. I was like, wow, what's gonna be number 1 for Michael?
And it's a lot more of the same, but there's like a bigger overworld, and you have like a ship, and it can fly at times. So there's some more exploration to be had. And you can like transfer your data from the first one into the second one.
Why on earth did they stop making this?
I don't know. I mean, they brought it back on
3DS,
the DS
or DS. Oh, and then they just
but
stopped.
that one just wasn't quite as good. They unfortunately like changed it up. In the first 2, you could, unless I'm remembering incorrectly, you could like revisit every place you had been to.
Okay.
But in the third one, there were like points where you couldn't go back to previous locations. And I don't know why they did that. But if you like missed out on like collecting something, then you like couldn't go back and get it.
That's a bummer. Yeah.
That was, yeah.
Especially in an RPG.
But I still enjoyed it, but it wasn't quite as good. But I'm still hopeful they could bring one to the Switch at some point.
I mean, wait, they did that in Divinity too. They had the acts, and you couldn't go back to a previous act. Which was a bit of a pain. We'd be like, oh man, because anytime they released like DLC that affected a different act, we'd have to start over, which I think we did twice from DLC. Nice. My number 1 is Pokemon Emerald, potentially one of my favorite in the whole series. We've done a top ranking list of Pokemon games, and this one ranks high for me. Oops. I think it's the definitive version over Ruby Sapphire. It actually has story elements that are very different than Ruby and Sapphire. In Ruby and Sapphire, the gang war between Team Aqua and Team Magma is not as prominent as it is in Emerald, because both of them end up being successful in awakening the legendary Groudon and Kyogre.
Or Kyogre,
if you say it.
Where was that? I feel like that was something Nintendo, like Pokemon company themselves.
3D Pokedex 3D or something like that. It was like so, which they always pronounced it Kyogre prior to that, but the voice actor that day didn't. It was like Kyogre.
I'm pretty sure since they've also pronounced it Kyogre.
Yeah. So both of them get awakened, causing a crazy cataclysmic natural disaster between it.
Then here comes Rayquaza.
Yeah, so you as the protagonist have to go wake and free Rayquaza to put them both to rest, to get them to chill out. Rayquaza comes in and he's like, "Hey, go back to your room.
You're grounded."
Yeah, and
you're grounded but underwater.
And Groudon's grounded.
Yeah, just straight grounded.
And so it's really fun. The champion is different in Emerald. gym. So the 8th gym leader is the champion in Emerald, and Steven Stone, who was the champion in Ruby and Sapphire, becomes like a bonus fight that you can do after. That's incredibly difficult. So there you go.
Like the good old Trainer Red.
Yeah, he becomes like a Trainer Red essentially. Super fun, great game, lots of bonus, and then I believe Emerald added that was the first to have a Pokemon Battle Frontier or Battle Tower, and it had different areas that you could go to and basically do competitive battles to try and get to... It was like a really fun post game if you're really into Pokemon battling. They've done a lot of these since. This was the first one to do that, and this one I think was one of the best ones to implement that post-battle system, because it had like all these different buildings you could go to, and you were trying to get to the frontier boss for each. So, yeah, like a second gym experience, sort of, except you're not traveling all over the place and you're just battling and battling and battling. Not my thing, but it's cool that it was there. Alrighty, next up is the Nintendo DS. I actually have a top 11, so I'm once we get close to number 1, I'm gonna give some honorable mentions. But I'll start with number 5.
So I think I only had like 10 DS games total.
My number 5 is Drawn to Life. Drawn to Life is a fantastic game. Utilizes the touchscreen so that you draw your character. You draw the different pieces, the arms, the legs, and the torso. And the plot of the game is that you, the player, outside of the game, like you yourself are the creator. You start the game by like drawing the planet, and you have like this big book that's like talking about the creation of this world and the creation of these different characters, and like there are forests, and you draw these. Those don't affect anything.
Yeah.
Then the characters in this village are threatened by this shadowy character, and they pray to the creator for help. And so you, as the creator, give them a hero by drawing a hero for them, and the hero is a mannequin that you draw on top of. So in the game, so the overworld is like this, like 3D top down, not 3D, but like a top down walk around in a 3D space. But then the actual levels are platformers that have different weapons depending on which world you're in, and you get to draw the weapons, like draw an acorn blaster, draw a snowball blaster, draw a sword, draw wings. Different power-ups to give your guy. Super fun. I think the platforming in that game is really good. The plot of the game is actually really fun and really, really cool. And then they just ruined it from there with Drawn to Life 2 and and the rest of the series. They really decided to just make the story super weird and crazy. I don't know why they did that. Yeah. Drawn to Life, one of my favorite DS games ever. It's surprising that it's number 5, but you'll see why.
I think my number 5 is probably Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks.
It's in my honorable mentions.
Oh, nice.
I'm a big fan.
You got a train. How cool is that?
Yeah. I think it's slightly better than
Phantom Hourglass.
I played both to completion. This was the start of my handheld Zelda-ing. Yeah.
There's not too much more to say, partially because I don't really remember.
Did you play the multiplayer on it?
I don't think so.
So there's one thing that the DS did really well, and a reason that some of these games are going to rank as high as they do for me, is it had download play. So if you had the base game, there would be opportunities to do multiplayer with other people that had the game for sure. But if you didn't have the game, there was a lot of times the ability to play a download play mini game, or like it wasn't going to be as big. It was like a party game. So in that one, you each take control. I don't remember which one is which, because both Zeldas had a multiplayer mode. But I believe in this one you take control of Link, and you each of you is a Link and controls are trying to collect Triforce pieces, and one of the players plays as a Phantom and can control multiple Phantoms to move around. So it's kind of like that one game on Nintendo Land with Animal Crossing. I'm talking about like you got to go and collect them and bring them to a central spot.
2 guards.
Yep, it's like that, but with Zelda stuff. Really fun, awesome game. We played a whole bunch of the multiplayer of that. That puts number 4 for me is Animal Crossing Wild World. This was my first Animal Crossing game. I put countless hours into this game. It was very similar to the original, but just put onto a DS. And runs really well. You wouldn't think that really would be good. You might argue it's like the worst looking in the whole series, like graphically, but it's still really fun. I really liked the charm, the music, and just my village. Like it was so fun.
And I think Animal Crossing is a pretty good game for handhelds.
I think so. Yeah.
Because some games are just better on like the big screen, but Animal Crossing you don't really need.
Right. And you kind of want to have it while you're doing something else, you know?
Yeah, when you're crafting all these things, you can be doing something else.
Yeah. There was no crafting in Wild World.
What?
Yeah, that's brand new to New Horizons. So Wild World was, I mean, imagine.
But you're telling me you couldn't craft anything in New Horizons is my first Animal Crossing. They didn't have any crafting before that?
No crafting at all.
Huh.
Yeah, that's new.
It's like the best part of the game. Getting all those crafting materials. And
yeah, so you just bought your tools. They never broke.
That does also sound kind of nice.
And the furniture was just all in-game furniture. You didn't craft any furniture.
Interesting.
Same basic premise of Tom Nook gives you a loan. You pay it off. No interest. Take as long as you want. And you get villagers to come to your town. You're built in like a canyon. So instead of the borders being the ocean, the borders are just these walls. And then the bottom of the map is the ocean. So it's interesting. There you go. That's my number 4.
I think my number 4 is probably Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. The reason I keep looking to the side is because that's where I have my DS games situated. So I just like trying to decide.
Yeah, no, you're good. Tell me, I know nothing. RPG. Yeah, I know nothing about Mario and Luigi. So tell me about it.
Yeah, it's like RPG like. There's some battles. You go inside Bowser and sometimes control him to do things and fight as Bowser. Pretty sure you fight as Bowser against like giant boss things at times. He gets really huge. I have the worst memory ever. I don't remember much of this game either.
Well, it was apparently really good because they remastered it, put it on 3DS. There you go.
Nice. I actually didn't even know about that.
Yeah. For me, I also have Mario at number 3, but it's a different Mario game. It is New Super Mario Bros. This was the first in the new series of Mario Bros. Games where they put one here, they put one on the Wii, and they did one on 3DS, they did one on Wii U, and they were all in like the very similar art style. This one introduced a couple things: the mini mushroom and the mega mushroom. Both of those were super fun and cool power-ups. Really, really enjoyed those. And but the real reason this game is up this high. I mean, it's Mario, and it's a fantastic Mario game as far as 2D Mario games go. It's probably the best in the new series, besides maybe the Wii one. I don't know. Like it's hard to judge them because you start to get burnout.
Yeah, eventually they stop becoming new.
Yeah, they didn't feel new anymore. Yeah, they felt very like they're rehashing the same thing. The best part of this game is the multiplayer. There are 2 multiplayer modes in this game. I'll give you the not as good one, but still really fun. Is a 2-player mode where you play against Luigi via download play. So you only need 1 copy of the game to do this. And each of you battles for stars on a infinitely looping level. So it's like this big, and once you hit one wall, you just continue on to the other side. And
you're competing for stars or coins?
Stars.
The stars? Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you get coins, you get power-ups, which will help you to knock the other player out and steal their stars. So
okay.
A star will
this
appear...
sounds very familiar, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah, star will appear randomly in the middle of the level, and then after that appears, you can fight for it, but then you can use power-ups to take out the other player and come back and take their stars. There was a variety of levels you could play, and we just had so much fun with this game. It was super fun. But the real reason this is number 3, and potentially could be higher if these other games didn't exist. Number 3.
So kind of how lists
is the minigame collection. Now, let me tell you about the minigame collection. This is a 4-player DS download play game where you can play a collection of mini games. You mark, say, like, okay, 1st to 5 wins. And then you can choose. You can either have it choose which mini game you play, or you can do what we always did, which is random, set all the settings to random, and it was basically Mario Party, just the mini games. And this was extremely cool on the DS because everybody that had a DS could play, and we played this for hours and hours and hours. There were card games with Luigi as the
dealer.
The dealer, yeah, he was dressed in like this like really fancy suit, and he would be like, "Let's go," and throw out the cards, and you'd play like matching games or 21 or a bunch of those. But then there's touchscreen games like sliding a snowball down a track. And if the snowball snags on anything, it stops, and the snowball gets smaller. But the bigger it gets, the harder it is to dodge stuff, and you're trying to race to the end. Games where you have to like slingshot things into hoops really utilized the touchscreen to its full capacity, and I loved it. We loved it. We played so much of this game. It was always fun. It didn't matter if you were winning or losing; you were having a great time, and this was Mario Party.
Best kinds of games.
This was just a bonus game on this game, and I probably spent more hours in the bonus game than the actual game itself. There you have it. Bring this back, please. I loved this. This is so fun. It's basically Clubhouse 51 games, but shorter and with like Mario style, like Mario themed everything. Yeah. I mean, I guess Mario Party is like this, but it's not just Mario Party is way longer. These were quick. I mean, you'd finish games in like 10-15 minutes, like do like 5 rounds in rapid fire. So
oh yeah, at first I thought you were talking about each individual mini game was shorter, and then you said like 10-15 minutes, and I was like, those sound like very long
no, that's total. Yeah. All right, Mike, give me your number 3. Number 3, me lord.
Number 3 probably have to be Golden Sun Dark Dawn.
Oh, let's go. More Golden Sun. Let's bring it.
Oh, yeah. All the Golden Suns. Which, I mean, it was still good, and I still really enjoyed it. But it didn't quite live up to my memories. And it also didn't let you go back.
Yeah.
It, like, cut off. Left a sour taste in my mouth a little bit. But I still had a lot of fun with it.
That may be why it ended. It's because it wasn't received as well. But it's like, come on, that was your fault.
Yeah.
You
now
made
put
it
on Switch. Everything has been doing so well on Switch. Now's your chance.
Seriously. This Advance Wars came back. Let's bring this back. This was also like a Advance Game Boy era, Advance and DS game era.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me is Pokemon Platinum. I love Gen 4. already talked about it at length because I've been playing Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I'm like, oh man, this character's from this, and they have all these Pokemon in here. Generation 4 was a fantastic game, and Platinum fixed all the problems that Diamond and Pearl had more story elements to it, and had this whole...
Had the underground, right?
I think
all
of them had the underground.
All of them had the underground? Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I only remember one.
Yeah, I mean...
Will you, like, decorate your house and, like, find fossils and things?
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty sure. Secret bases were actually introduced in Emerald. There was no underground. You made a secret base on the map somewhere. Be like, you could hollow out this tree, and you could put a secret base in there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No. I was thinking, Giratina. I had like a whole subplot there because instead of waking up either Dialga or Palkia to, destroy the world and start it over in his own form, Cyrus wakes up both of them because he's like, you know what, I'm feeling bold today in this game. And by doing that, Giratina wakes up and just eats him, just like swallows him into the shadow realm, like, and then you go in after him for some reason. Like, oh yeah, we'll go get him.
It seems like a good time to just be like, okay, peace out. All of our problems are solved.
There's some weird stuff happening there where you're like walking on walls and things, which was very, very bizarre for the time, because it was still 2D in nature. It had some 3D elements to it. This was the first time the buildings were like 3D and they looked weird. But yeah, there you go. Pokemon Platinum. I would be... Oh gosh, my dog just scared the tar out of me. Whoa, barked so loud. I would be absolutely a bad fan. I don't know what I'm thinking. Remiss? Is that the right phrase to use here? Absolutely remiss. If I did not mention the soundtrack for this game being like top 3 soundtracks of all time.
But surely it's... I didn't mention this, but Golden Sun, especially 1 and 2, incredible soundtracks.
Yeah.
So good.
Pokemon Platinum. It's great.
I don't actually remember it being that good. Just saying.
I loved it. What's your number 2 then?
Well,
if it's not Pokemon, I guess it's not Pokemon Platinum. Spoilers.
Pokemon Heart Gold be my number 2. I generally don't put the same game on twice, but Pokemon Crystal and whatnot is so good that it deserves to be on twice.
Yeah, let's go. So, it's a fantastic game. It's
more of the same, but also has a little Pokeball pedometer thing. Which is so
spoiler
cool.
Here. This is my number 1. This is the greatest DS game ever made. Yep. I love Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver. Yeah, the pedometer is so cool. That was such a fun
follow
game.
You? I mean, that's not necessarily that big of a deal, to be honest, but it's still kind of cool to have Pokemon show up behind you when you're walking around.
No, that was like amazing. And they had the whole Pokedex. So you're like, hey, let's put Giratina. Just a full building following you. Yeah. Dude. Oh. They did everything right with that game. It's the best Pokemon game. I mean, it won our top Pokemon game ever list.
Yeah, it's so good. Well, I guess I'll show my number 1 then. Was Chrono Trigger.
Oh yeah.
Because this is where I actually first played Chrono Trigger,
and this is the definitive way to play Chrono Trigger. From what I have heard, this is like the best version of this game.
I still have a poster of this, like the image, this somewhere. I'm pretty sure.
Why isn't that up on your wall? You have all these sweet posters.
I don't know what happened to it. It's somewhere, probably folded up, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can uncrease it.
Well, I'm pretty sure it arrived folded though.
Yeah. Dang, that makes sense that would be up there. I was like, what beat Pokemon Heart Gold for you? Chrono Trigger is
I would say like RP, like the DS was just like RPGs to the max for me.
Yeah.
4 of my 5.
RPG maximum. Yeah,
Back in the day when I used to play RPGs all the time, I don't know why I've kind of fallen off.
Yeah, time to bring it back. Let's get some Xenoblade, some Fire Emblem. We need one of us to play those.
Yeah, I mean, I did just play Bug Fables, so.
Yeah.
I guess I should mention that in what you're playing. I technically didn't play it on Switch, but I did finish that.
Nice.
On the hard mode, and then I beat a powerful foe, or whatever it says. There's an achievement for that. We have to fight some post-game person who is also very difficult.
Nice. Well, that's the Nintendo DS list. Also, Bug Fables.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the final list. Oh, wait. I had honorable mentions. I had a whole bunch of honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Let me give those for the Nintendo DS. Mario Kart DS. Again, the download play. Life-changing. First, I think it was the first time you could play as Shy Guy, and it was only the people doing the download play were Shy Guy.
So you were fighting to be that download player.
Yeah, I don't want to be the main player, but if I was, I'd play as Waluigi. Yeah, which, is that his first game?
It's an option, I guess.
I think he was. I think that was the first game he was in. Unless Double Dash came out before this. I don't remember the time frame. Fantastic game.
Double Dash was before DS, right? I mean, the GameCube. I want to say GameCube's like 2002.
I don't remember.
DS 2004.
I'll give my other honorable mentions.
Right, I'll let you
look that up. Scribblenauts. Fantastic game.
Oh, that almost made it on my top 5 as well.
This is in your honorable mentions as well. It's up there with Drawn to Life for me. If you ask, so my brother and I I got Drawn to Life and he got Scribblenauts, and we swapped and played both on each other's systems. So his is he will put Scribblenauts in the spot where I put Drawn to Life, and it's close behind for me. Scribblenauts is super fun, and the second one added adjectives, which is also really fun. So, and then after that, they lost their way. They just kept pumping out games that were all the same, not enough new stuff. I mean, what do you do after adjectives? I don't know. Maybe they add like
guns. Actually, you could make guns. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yes, you could. You could make anything. That was the appeal to that.
What they needed is like an open world Scribblenauts.
I think that's what they were trying to do with Scribblenauts Unlimited, and it just didn't work as well. The linear levels where you have to solve a puzzle to get to the side, they moved away from those and kind of integrated them into a world, and it didn't work as good. Anyways, yeah, you can summon anything. You type anything in, boom, it's there in the game. And you could summon things like Cthulhu, guns.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites to summon, Cthulhu.
Wings. I mean, you start to like go back to these. Cthulhu got summoned a lot for me. There were like a lot of things. Zeus, you could summon a fish, you could summon any food, and you'd have these puzzles. There were ones where it was travel from point A to point B only using this many items, and then there were some that were like, this scientist wants a thing, and it gives you some clues, and you have to figure out what he wants in different phases. So there were like word puzzle type ones. Super great game. Mario 64 DS. Again, really fun multiplayer on that, and I think a fun way to play Mario 64. A lot of complaints I see online are that it used D-pad controls instead of, and that made it hard to control. And I agree, it's not as easy to control as the 64, but then graphically, I think it improves on the game a lot. And the fact that you can play as Wario, Yoshi, Mario, and Luigi. It's really, really neat, and I would love to see that remastered just with like better controls. More than I would like to see Mario 64 remastered again. Bring us Mario 64 DS. Like, come on. I like it maybe a little bit more just for the features, but controls-wise, definitely 64. Zelda Spirit Tracks, already mentioned. Brain Age. That's a fantastic game. Also had really fun multiplayer party game type side to it. And then last on my honorable mentions list, and maybe number one in the hearts of all Nintendo pals, Photo Dojo, which was a DSi eShop title. and you take pictures of yourself in different poses, and that forms a character that does a side-scrolling fighting beat 'em up.
Yeah, that was great.
It is a fantastic
my
game.
favorite was just using like random objects as the person, essentially.
Yeah,
So
or
do
the
like
thing
different
that
punches, and you suddenly have like different textures.
you shoot like a energy ball, and that could be anything
I
you
remember we
wanted.
did like a peppermint once and an eyeball another time.
Yeah.
And the sound effects you add in. My favorite was to just change your sound effects to me screaming as loud as I could.
Yeah, and then every time Micah died, it'd be like, ah! Ah! It was horrible. It was horrible.
It's so great.
Good times. Alrighty, now we are moving into the final list here, and I will. Yeah, let's just start. Who do you want to start this one?
I never actually had a 3DS, and I don't know if I ever played on a 3DS.
Oh.
So
I forgot you told me at the start of this that you didn't actually have a top 5 for 3DS. Well, Micah, don't worry, I got you covered. I got 9 games, so I'll just give I'll just give a top 9 here. All right. Now, everything beyond 5 are games that I think deserve to be on a top list, but I didn't actually play that much of. So that's thing here for 9 through 6. That's not true. Just for some of them. Okay, so first, number 9 for me is Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which I did play. I didn't finish, but I played, and I think it's a really good...
Sounds like it must not be that good.
It's a good remake, but I sometimes have a hard time going back to Pokemon, and this was at the phase of life where Pokemon was a little bit hard to get into. We're out of that phase now. Legends, Arceus, you brought me back. You son of a gun. You done it again. I'm back into Pokemon.
New Pokemon Snap.
Oh, yeah, new Pokemon Snap, of course.
And soon to be a new Hey You Pikachu, right?
Let's go.
Just gotta finish off the remakes.
Yeah. Complete the Triforce. Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Mainline, and Hey You Pikachu. Number 8, which I didn't play that much of, probably just like the first level. Fire Emblem Awakening. For bringing the series to life. I think this is the game to credit. A lot of popular characters, so much so that like half of the roster is in Smash Bros. That's not true. Just a lot of popular. I mean, they've got Chrom. It's not Corrin. Who's the Magic Fire Emblem guy? I can't remember his name. I've forgotten, but they're in there. Robin.
Can also be a lady.
Yep. That's because you, as the protagonist, can be a male or female. And then Lucinda as well. Lucina, not Lucinda.
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, I didn't play enough of this. So that's number 8. Number 7, A Link Between Worlds. I have not played, but I know it is really good. It is talked very highly.
I'd probably put that on my list, I guess.
Did you play it?
No.
I'll put that one on. I'm on my list. And then this one I also have not played, but I've seen gameplay of, and I want this to come to the Switch so badly, and that is Tomodachi Life. The game where you play Sims with Miis, basically. But it's like it's not like Sims. It's very interesting. Like,
what are you trying to say about Sims?
I'm saying it's very different mechanically. Like it's similar but not the same. You have
it's not like Sims. It's very interesting.
No. It's very interesting mechanics is what I was trying to say. Okay. I was trying to down on Sims. We just alienate everyone in our audience. We have to tick off a fan base every episode. That's our goal.
Oh, for sure.
So sorry we keep bringing up Xenoblade and Fire Emblem even though we haven't played them. Okay, now coming into my number 5, and these are all games that I've played and can give actual scores to. Pokemon Sun and Moon at number 5. This is the first handheld console where Pokemon is not the number 1 game for me. All of my lists have been Pokemon at the number 1 and sometimes number 2. This is number 5. And so spoilers, there's no more Pokemon games from the 3DS on my list. I just fell out of the series at this point. That's the way it is. But Sun and Moon pulled me back in, and I played through the entire game and really enjoyed it. So there you have it. Don't know what did it, but there it is. Number 4. Smash Bros. For the 3DS.
I haven't played that, but I'll put that on my list as well.
It's up there. It's your number 4 as well. you have
my number something.
Zelda at 5 and this game at 4. Smash Bros. For the 3DS is fantastic. This was the first time that a Smash Bros. Game was on handheld systems, and it had some better single-player modes than the Wii U, which is surprising.
I was bringing that mode to like the Switch one.
Yeah, and you could use, if you had the game, you could use it as a controller to play on the Wii U version.
But I don't Definitely think not the way unless they absolutely had to.
Max did a few times. My brother, he did that quite a bit because he got really good at the 3DS version. So there you have it. Number 4, Smash Bros. For the 3DS. Number 3, Super Mario 3D Land. An excellent use of the 3D and the introduction to the 3D series for Mario, which is like in between 3D Mario and 2D Mario. So Mario 3D Land followed by Mario 3D World. We'll be heading to Mario 3D Galaxy next. Actually, Galaxy is sort of like that. I put them in the same
solar system, maybe.
Yeah, that's. Oh, I don't know what more I can say.
I might put that. I'll put that on my list too.
Great. I think
for the Wii U version.
I think that this game might have even done some things better than 3D World. It didn't have multiplayer, but I just really loved the level design. The use of the 3D felt really good and not like tacked in, gimmicky. Yeah, it was really fun. Number 2 for me, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D. It had to happen, Micah.
Not on my list.
It had to happen because this is actually where I first completed the game. I then went back and beat it on the N64, now knowing how. That is right.
Now you just got to beat on the GameCube, like the Master Quest
and then I'll
mode,
beat every mode, or every version of Ocarina of Time. Got to beat it on NSO. Okay, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D fixes a lot of the things that Micah likes to complain about.
And there were a lot of things that actually weren't very good about.
Yeah, Micah likes to complain about Ocarina of Time. I think Ocarina of Time 3D may change your mind. If you ever get a chance to play
I doubt it.
Do it. Yeah, I think you're too firmly... I think at this point you're too firmly grounded in your opinion to really make an educated and opinion-bias-free decision. But this game's great.
Right.
This game is fantastic. I think the 3D was really well implemented. It enhanced the game. It did not. You didn't require it, so you don't have to play with the 3D. And I believe it added motion controls to the aiming for the bow and for the hook shot. And text boxes were sped up. Certain elements of the game were sped up. It just does everything to enhance the gameplay to a better level. Because the game, I mean, going back to Ocarina of Time, I have to agree with Micah's points that the text boxes move very slow. You're like
awful.
It is.
I didn't want to talk to anyone ever.
Yeah, it is crawling. But in this game, I mean, you can just and it pops up with the whole text box, and you can just mash through and skip it if you want, but you can read it at your speed instead of whatever they determined was the speed. Yeah, I don't know really like what else. It was just a lot of minor fixes, and I think it just overall, this is the definitive way to play Ocarina of Time for sure. And this is what I wanted to come to Switch more than the original Ocarina of Time. I want the 3DS collection. Up-res those, bring them over, because they've done this, okay? They have brought over Miitopia. Disney Magical Land 2 was a 3DS game that came to the Switch. Just, like, do it. Bring more 3DS games. These are all fantastic games in the catalog. Like, a double pack of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D. Oh, that would be fantastic. Way better than this NSO that they've done. I mean, the NSO is free with your paid subscription, but it's like I would rather have paid for a port of the 3DS versions.
I'd rather just not play them again. Well, Ocarina of Time. I'll give Majora's Mask a try.
Number 1. Do you know what my number 1 is? Can you guess? I've talked about it.
Is it Clock?
No, Plock was not on the 3DS.
You illegally streamed to your
Contrary to popular
3DS.
belief, Plock was not on the 3DS. My number 1 is Kid Icarus Uprising.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Kid Icarus Uprising, first off, everybody coming down into those comments, everybody coming down into the chat, whatever, and be like, this game had garbage controls. You know, they type like this. They type with one hand, slapping the keyboard. Bat, 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 bat. Okay, listen, I understand.
Well, someone just said it's just okay.
Yeah, that's you. Okay, all right. I understand that the controls were a hindrance to this game, but if you can get past that, you are going to experience the greatest 3DS title to ever grace the system. This is the number 1 game for me because in spite of the controls being a little bit hard to get used to and ergonomically not being very good. They included a stand with this game, okay? Because holding it was uncomfortable because you aim with the stylus and the touchscreen. But the combat, the actual gameplay, okay? The combat.
Besides the weapons, controls that aren't good,
the weapon
system.
The combat
is very good.
The weapon system. I know those seem integral, but they're not. I'm talking gameplay elements here, like the actual combat, the actual level formats, the story is phenomenal. They voice acted the entire thing, and it's going on while the battle's going, very Star Fox style, but way more in depth.
Did they ever say do a barrel roll? Because that would have been like the coolest.
They might actually. They did a lot of like reference-y type stuff. They reference the old games all the time for Kid Icarus. Awesome. So it does have that fan serviciness to it. It is nothing like original Kid Icarus or Kid Icarus 2. This is a brand new look with the same IP. So the levels follow a style where you play a Star Fox-like battle for the first 5 minutes, because the plot of the game is that Lady Palutena can only grant Pit the power of flight for 5 minutes at a time. Otherwise, his wings will burn up, like Icarus, right?
Oh, wow.
So, for that first 5 minutes, you are flying into the zone that you need to go to, okay? And there's usually large, like it's Star Fox. It's just Star Fox, but with fantasy creatures. And it's very fun, very good. The weapons, you pick your weapon loadout going in, and this game has like some of the biggest variety of weapons of any shooter I've ever played. There are like 6 different types of weapons, and then within those types are like a whole bunch of different kinds of weapons. And you even had this mini game where you could like mix them together, and it would randomize the stats on it and give you a new weapon that would potentially be better. So there's that. And then in addition to that, you have abilities that you can equip, and I think those were just for the ground portion of the game. But you put those into a box, like a Tetris puzzle. They're like, each ability is a different shape, and so you put them in, and you want to try and fill up as much of the box as you can without like wasting space.
Pretty cool.
And you get some cool abilities like a limited time power up that makes you invincible, or I remember a fireworks one that did damage to enemies above you. And yeah, there was a whole bunch to just the power up and weapon system, like way more than you would think. So after you do the air battle, which some of those would have boss fights at the end, so you'd have to do a little boss battle, then you would go to the ground fighting, and that was when it became a third-person shooter that is not on rails like the Star Fox portion. And then you are progressing your way to a boss battle, and that is the third phase of a level, and that is a boss battle that is very reminiscent of Monster Hunter, I would say. It's very, very similar to that. I can't talk about how great this game is enough. Like, I really do it a disservice by leading with the controls, like talking about how the controls were a struggle. This game needs to come back. They need to port this to Switch, put it on regular joystick controls, and bada bing, bada boom. You have the greatest game ever made. Like
the greatest game ever made. That's
could be.
That's pretty bold.
Could be.
Maybe I'm speaking a little too.
Okay, maybe I'm speaking a little too excitedly, but let me tell you, it's good. It's very fun. So there you have it. That's my number one. If you have not given Kid Icarus Uprising a try, please do. I think this game needs more love. And multiplayer. Again, with the multiplayer. Because this had download play, where you play a 5v5 battle royale. And a mode where you do 3-on-3, and it is a shared health bar. So as people get eliminated, the health bar goes down, and once the health bar hits 0, a person on your team, I think it's the person that died to make it 0, turns into Pit, or if you're on the other team, Dark Pit. And then the game becomes Eliminate Pit. So so the other guys can die as many times as they want. And so it's a very fun battle royale game, and that's all side modes. Like, if this was on Switch, that would be so fun. That would be so fun.
Maybe someday.
The story, the music. So good. So great.
I got some honorable mentions for mine.
All right.
Shovel Knight, which I have played on the Switch, so I can kind of rank that one. That's a very fun game.
Yeah, and the 3DS version of that's pretty cool.
Then I'll just throw in Samus Returns. Sounds real cool. I think I'd enjoyed that a lot. And then Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
Yep.
Some honorable mentions from games I have not played.
And there you have it. Micah didn't have anything for the 3DS, but hopefully my list is more than enough to satisfy your craving to play a game on the 3DS. And that is it. Nintendo Pals top 5 for every single handheld console. Micah, this took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take, but it's been a good time. Nod. This is not a visual only podcast, but
it is sometimes
if you want,
think about things.
If you want to watch the video version of this podcast, you can do so by hopping over to our YouTube channel. Please hop over there, give us a sub, because we need those subs to hit 1,000. Once we hit 1,000, you actually unlock a channel membership, which is very similar to Twitch's subscription program, and people can choose to support the channel, and it gives us a bigger cut than Twitch does. So that's definitely what we would like to do. So please please help us get there.
We don't even have reasons anymore. We're just baking.
Please. Or you can watch the video version on Spotify, which the video version of the podcast goes up every Monday on all podcast listening apps. And again, please leave us a 5-star review. Give us a follow. Give us a sub. Do whatever positive buttons you can hit on your app. Hit them, because it helps. It really does. It takes no time. That's less than 2 minutes. That's not that's a click of the thumb. You could accidentally do that while scrolling. Just scroll up, but use the thumb, the little thumbs up. Use that to scroll up on your phone to the next podcast. Okay. If you would like to follow us on social media, you can do that by heading over to Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Discord. I forget Discord because I don't really count Discord as a social media, but it is a social media platform. And let me just tell you that our Discord is a hopping place filled with fantastic people. We would absolutely love if you came and joined. It's an open invite to all. Links to all of those things are in the description of the podcast. But since we've been, ranking up in the search results, if you just go out to any search engine and you type Nintendo Pals, you'll find us. We'll show up, hopefully at the top. And I think that's about everything. Thank you all so much for listening. Apologies for our, tired brains, our sicky mistakes, because we're not feeling 100%, but hopefully we'll be feeling 100% for next week. And with that, I bid you farewell, and Micah gives us a closing remark.
Oh, I do. Yep, and that's it.
Talk to you all next week.